Despite missing 14 regular season games, he also leads the position in touchdown grabs over the last 5 years with 38. So he leads the position in touchdowns, even though he's missed all of that time.
All that time.
Hey, I'm Liz Loza. This is Facts versus Feelings, and today's fact is that ADP is not gospel. Daniel Dopp.
Liz Loza.
We're in the same box.
How amazing is that? I'm out of the little box. We are now in a big box together.
In Bristol, Connecticut.
Isn't that fun for you?
It's fantastic.
This is the best, right? Love being able to be here with you in studio. We've been doing Fantasy Focus all week long.
I know. By the end of this week, we will have done 6 shows together.
That's a lot. Are you sure you still want to do Facts versus Feelings with me every single week?
My favorite thing every week is Facts versus Feelings, and now I get to improve that enjoyment 6x.
All right,
twins.
Let's dive into then what the ADP. Liz, we've been mock drafting for months at this point.
Sure have.
A lot. I'm kind of mock drafted out,
Don't
but it's a
say
part of the
that
job.
out loud. They're gonna
I
come
know.
get
We'll get
you.
more. I know.
They're going to put you in a different kind of box if you talk like that. You love mock drafting,
love mock
Daniel.
drafting.
Nothing
It
is
is the
better
best.
than a mock draft on a Monday.
We have done so many mocks that we have seen the ADP of a lot of these guys shift quite a bit from when we started to where we're at now. So I want to dive into a couple of different positions of guys that have an interesting ADP, as I would call it. And I want to start in Philadelphia with the quarterback that is Jalen Hurts, because everyone kind of looks at Jalen Hurts, the number 5 quarterback. He's the, quote, end of that first tier because he's that running quarterback. We always talk about that being a cheat code in fantasy. The rushing upside. And now his ADP, 54.5, so you're getting him in the 6th round. How do you feel about Jalen Hurts in that ADP?
Way too high. I mean, this is a player who has underperformed in consecutive seasons. Last year, he was the QB 8 in fantasy points per game. His passing was down in that he recorded his lowest completion percentage, under 65%, since 2021. He also, in fact, let me ask you, how many games of 300 or more yards passing do you think he managed last season?
Maybe one?
Just one.
Okay.
One single game of 300 plus. But obviously, we do not love Jalen Hurts, as you mentioned earlier, for his passing volume. We like him for his legs.
Exactly. And now it feels like we're in a spot, Liz, where even though I love Jalen Hurts and the legs, and that's why we're drafting him there, it kind of feels like the rushing has fallen off a little bit over the last couple of years.
Last year, he ran the ball 45 fewer times than the previous year, and he ended the year as the QB 7 in rushing yards behind Drake May. Also, can we talk about the touchdown production? Because that dropped significantly. He recorded just 8 rushing scores last season. That was his second lowest total since his rookie campaign. And I would attribute that dip to a less effective conversion on the tush push, which only converted at about 62% last year. And I have to give you props because you warned everyone heading into last year that without Jason Kelce in that offensive line, the tush push was going to become less of a factor for Jalen Hurts.
Especially when you have a running back the caliber of Saquon freaking Barkley right
yep.
back there, right? Like, why not give the ball to the running back you're paying tens of millions of dollars to so you can protect your quarterback? So it just feels like where we're at right now, 54.5.
I don't see it rebounding either because the O-line's coach from last year and all the previous years, Jeff Stoutland, stepped down, and now there's a gentleman named Chris Cooper who's going to man that role. And most of the reports are saying that the tush push is going to be less of a centerpiece, maybe even completely phased out of the game plan here.
What does Jalen Hurts' fantasy impact look like if the tush push isn't a part of what we're getting week in and week out? Because that's why we're drafting him at 5.
And the passing game is going to be less efficient, again, without
no A.J. Brown.
A.J. Brown there. So now we're looking at a completely depressed season, and he was the QB 8 in fantasy points per game last year.
Even though I have him in this tier where he is at the end of tier 1 because of the rushing ability, as you've mentioned, there's a reason for me to be nervous about it. I haven't drafted him at all this year.
I haven't either, because in the 6th round, I would rather pivot to wide receiver and get myself either Jalen Waddle or Ladd McConkey.
And then we can wait, and we've talked about the late round quarterbacks that we both like.
Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, give him them.
All right, let's talk about wide receiver then, because there's another guy that would have been an easy top 3 wide receiver, except last year he was awful. Justin Jefferson was a top 10 wide receiver for 5 straight seasons, and then last year he got J.J. McCarthy, finished as wide receiver 30. We all thought, because Kevin O'Connell rescued Sam Darnold. Because of that, it was like, all right, he can do this with J.J. McCarthy. And then the value cratered. And because of that, you're seeing this draft price be as low as it has ever been on Justin Jefferson. So are you in or are you out?
On this current ADP, I think you're getting an incredible steal. I mean, we know that Justin Jefferson has top 5 wide receiver potential. Why don't you list all the quarterbacks that Justin Jefferson has played with over the years prior to J.J. McCarthy?
All right, the quarterbacks you're talking about, we got Kirk Cousins, Nick Mullins, Josh Dobbs, Jaron Hall, and Sam Darnold. Honestly, Kirk Cousins is the best one on that list.
For sure.
Not even close. So Nick Mullins, Josh Dobbs, and Jaron Hall, and he was still a top 10 wide receiver?
Yes, in fact, over his career, 6 years in the league, Justin Jefferson has remained the wide receiver 5 in fantasy points per game just over his career, behind Tyreek Hill and just ahead of Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Okay, which is very fair, and I think, as you would usually say, we're trying not to chase touchdowns.
We don't chase touchdowns.
We chase volume, right?
We chased volume, and Justin Jefferson over his career has also managed a target share of around 30% every single season. That is a monster size. We know that the touchdowns are going to rebound. We can be nervous about Kyler Murray. I am nervous about Kyler Murray.
That's the point that makes me probably the most nervous. None of this has to do with Justin Jefferson. None of last year was on Justin Jefferson for me. It was the quarterback not being able to get him the ball. And even though we've seen Kyler have a top 5 season before, I think there is some concern that maybe he's just going to suck at getting his guy the ball.
Well, we have seen him force feed DeAndre Hopkins the ball when Nuke was in Arizona that first year they were together. So we've seen that work. I will agree that the marriage of skill sets is not ideal because Murray has struggled to push the ball downfield, and we know that that's a hallmark of Justin Jefferson's game. Still, he is also going to score more than 2 touchdowns. So now you have a player with consistent wide receiver 5 upside going, if you're playing in a 10-team league, at the top of the second round.
Yeah. I think you have an unbelievable value if you decide to draft Justin Jefferson here. End of the first, beginning of the second. It feels like when we get to next year, we're going to be looking back saying, remember when we got such a huge discount on Justin Jefferson?
I mean, I hope so, because there is plenty that can go wrong between these two personalities if you want to listen to the narrative tree. So I do understand it, but also if we are looking at the facts and not just the feels, there's value here, incredible value.
The fact is, Kyler Murray only has one piece of homework, and that's just throw the ball to Justin Jefferson.
One piece.
Only one piece.
I still think they should play Madden together. That might.
I think that might fix it. That might fix it. They'll just get in the playbook and do some things. All right, let's talk about one more guy, and we're going to go to the tight end position, Liz. George Kittle has been unbelievable for basically a decade. That 49ers wide receiving core is in a tough spot right now. Juwan Jennings no longer there. Obviously, Ricky Pearsall on IR. They did bring in a very old Mike Evans, and so they don't have a lot of people.
Who, by the way, is dealing with a quadriceps issue.
How you feeling about George Kittle? Mind you, dealing with some of his own things, but right now his ADP is 95. That's the 10th round.
So we know George Kittle is going to probably miss a little bit of time because his playing style, which is so intense, which is why he's such a fan favorite, often invites injury. In fact, George Kittle has missed at least 1 game due to injury in 7 of his last 9 seasons when he has been on the field, though he has been money. Outside of his rookie effort, Kittle has never posted a season in which he's averaged fewer than 12.7 fantasy points per game.
That's a good number.
And it gets better. Despite missing 14 regular season games, he also leads the position in touchdown grabs over the last 5 years with 38. So he leads the position in touchdowns, even though he's missed all of that time.
All that time. And I would think that with this offense, he's going to go back to being that role while he is on the field. The big concern right now for me, Liz, and you kind of alluded it to the beginning, he's dealing with that Achilles injury, which happened very late in the season.
January.
It was a January injury. So as a part of that, you might have to grab another tight end, maybe for the first couple weeks. And that's really the big concern with George Kittle, is you'll have to go with someone else, maybe for a couple weeks in the unknown there.
I think certainly for week 1. Now, George Kittle has not suffered any setbacks in his recovery. He is expecting to be ready week 1. I would say, though, even if he's not, because the Rams and the 49ers will travel to Australia to kick off the season. So maybe George Kittle doesn't make that trip for a myriad of reasons. I don't care. This position is so deep that you can take plenty of final round flyers to band-aid your roster while the people's tight end returns to form and then also just pushes you into some supernova gear down the stretch.
I am all in on that. George Kittle's ADP is 95. Mike Evans' ADP is 90. Give me the tight end that has years of chemistry with this quarterback rather than the old guy that's coming over for the first season.
Facts.
All right, before we move on, please make sure that you like and subscribe to this video. We love being able to do this show. It means a ton for Liz and I, and we need your voicemails. even though it may feel like we have a ton because we do have a lot.
They're so great. Keep them coming.
We still don't have enough because we love being able to have questions from you guys. So please send in your questions. The voicemail number is 323-391-4855.
I saw you with the box. What was in the box? Oh, what's in the box? What's in the box?
All right, this is what it looks like when I'm out of the box, guys. I got to be honest. Liz is a little bit nervous because I've never been in a box this big before.
I have never kept you in a box, Daniel. I love you.
That's all you do is keep me in boxes.
That's not me. That's the producers.
Okay. Well, for what it's worth, I am in a very large box right now, and I am very excited because now that you've let me out, I want to be able to talk about some players that maybe I'm a little more outside the box on based on my rankings than some of our other...
Than the consensus.
Yeah, sure. Than our consensus, our colleagues. I'm going to start at the tight end spot. I need you to give me a little bit of grace here because I've been out on Travis Kelce for a while.
Since I've known you.
Okay.
That's 4 years.
And for 2 of those years, I was wrong.
Well, you keep saying I'd rather be a year early on Travis Kelce than a year late.
I was 4 years early, for what it's worth.
Okay.
And I was wrong. And you got to own your mistakes sometimes. But now,
eventually,
it's the time. Travis Kelce, I think right now, he's coming off the board. It's about tight end 10. Sure. I've got him more as like tight end 12. And I'm nervous because I just feel like we've watched him fall year after year after year as he's just lost that pop in his step. 4 years ago, 18.2 points per game. 3 years ago, 14.7 points per game, so about 3 less. 2 years ago, 11.2. So you're talking in 3 years, he lost 7 points per game.
That's a lot.
Based on what we were expecting. And then last year, even less, 10.4. Now you're in a situation in which you're going the wrong way. You've got a superstar quarterback who's working back from injury, so even that's going to be something. They want Rashee Rice to be involved like it's nobody's business. They want that kid to be able to work out. They drafted a first-round wide receiver a couple of years ago that I don't think they want to give up on yet, and Xavier Worthy. And I just feel like at that spot, Liz, this is where I'll end it. There are younger tight ends that I think just have more upside that I would rather take a shot on than Travis Kelce because I think he might have a decent floor, a low-end tight end 1 floor.
That's what I have him as.
But I want that ceiling. If I'm going to wait that long, I can get that floor, I feel like, from almost anybody.
Well, we do know, over the last 3 years, Travis Kelce has not hit 1,000 receiving yards. He also hasn't managed double-digit touchdowns for 3 years straight as well. So we certainly can admit there's been a decline. I do think the addition of Kenneth Gainwell III to the offense will open up the middle of the field for him. He's going to continue to be a safety valve, but he's getting nothing after the catch, to your point.
Yeah.
So I do have him as my tight end 10, and I think he'll be a low-end tight end 1. But sure, finding the upside elsewhere at a cheaper price, no problems with it.
I think that there's a part when I watched Travis Kelce's game, it's like kind of stopped being fun. Because it used to be like he was this big behemoth that would kind of run over people.
Rumble a bit,
He'd rumble. And now it's just like he catches the ball and falls down like Tyler Lockett used to do. So like that's the thing. You catch the ball, you play Madden, you hit the A button, you don't want to get tackled. And I actually maybe don't want him to get tackled. I want him to be on the field. So whatever he can do, I think he will still have those classic, there will be weeks.
There will be weeks.
There will be weeks. There will be some classic.
Likes to say there will be weeks
TK
and there
weeks.
will be weeks. Do you want to talk about someone who used to be on the Chiefs but is now playing maybe for a team you have a particular interest in?
You know, Liz, part of the reason why we're best friends is because you know my heart so well.
I do.
You do.
I like to think so.
Isiah Pacheco, I think, is just being criminally overlooked right now in drafts. And I want to say this, first and foremost, I think it's as a handcuff. I do not believe that Isiah Pacheco, as it stands, will have standalone value the way that both Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery could have standalone value in the previous years of fantasy.
Sure.
This year, it's going to be different. It's the Jahmyr Gibbs show. But I do want to say, when looking at what that Monty role did over the last couple of years, it's pretty enticing, Liz. 3 years ago, 15 touchdowns for David Montgomery. That was with Jahmyr Gibbs being on the team. He was a rookie that year. 2 years ago, 12 touchdowns. Last year, still dipped, but 8 touchdowns, which is a very respectable number for a running back in today's NFL. I don't care about the yardage. I care about the touchdown equity in the number 2 offense in the NFL that scored 28 points per game last year. The Chiefs weren't even close to that. They were the 20th scoring offense in the NFL last year. So this team should be so much better for Isiah Pacheco, and most importantly, the point is he's a handcuff. If anything happens to Jahmyr Gibbs, you have a guy that's going to fall right into an offense as the lead back. There's not another back in Detroit right now that you would think would take carries away from Isiah Pacheco, and he would have top 20 running back value if he ever got the start, if Jahmyr Gibbs were ever hurt. So I just think he shouldn't be overlooked as a handcuff.
Over under 7.5 rushing scores for Pacheco.
Oh, Liz, why you got to do this to me?
On the spot.
That's a good number. You should do this.
Thank you. I in fact do.
I'm going to go over. I'm going to say 8.
Okay.
I'm just barely over.
So that is the number of rushing scores that David Montgomery recorded last
year
season and was the RB12 as a result in rushing scores. Moreover, last year, David Montgomery was the RB27 overall with a reduced amount of volume and dealing with injury.
Yep.
So that means that Isiah Pacheco has RB3/flex appeal and is largely going undrafted, not even baking in his value as a handcuff.
Isiah Pacheco right now is ranked so low by and if he's even ranked by a lot of our consensus colleagues. Liz, I'm all in on this guy, but again, I just want to say one more time, it is not standalone value. It is not like previous years with David Montgomery. This is just about grabbing him in case something happens to Jahmyr Gibbs. But we got to talk about Pacheco more as a guy that needs to be rostered. I think
we need to tweak our rankings. I think that's the lesson we just learned.
All right. I got a wide receiver I want to ask you about, one more, and I feel really bad because I love this kid. I am really nervous about Nico Collins as my wide receiver 1 in fantasy.
Okay. Is it because of the lower body injuries or because you believe the passing offense to be kind of anemic?
It is a little bit of both. How much do you know about Nico Collins' lower body?
Not enough?
Not enough is the answer.
Tell me?
There you go. Okay, so here's where we're at. Let me tell you about Nico Collins. And it's not just his lower body, though it is mostly his lower body. The problem is he has gotten hurt so much that a lot of this is on him. Some of it's on the offense, but a lot of this is on him. He's never played a full season. Ever.
I did not know that, actually.
Never played a full season.
Good point.
Nico had multiple concussions
last
in
year.
2025, missed multiple games because of that. He dealt with multiple hamstring issues in 2024, which included a stint on the IR. He had a calf strain in 2023 that caused him to miss time. He had a foot injury in 2022 that also landed him on the IR. He then had a shoulder injury in 2021 that also landed him on the IR. So 3 of his 5 seasons in the NFL, he has spent at least 4 games on injured reserve. So I'm planning on this guy probably getting banged up. We see these big, long wide receivers with the hamstring issues. It happens a lot, the recidivism. We know that. So we're talking about now Nico Collins being a guy that I have to worry about from a health perspective. And I still haven't talked about the offense where I don't know if CJ Stroud is that good of a quarterback anymore. We anointed him coming right out of that first year, and it's been downhill ever since. And part of that is because
of
the offensive
protection
line.
Issues.
It's been really tough for him. They tried to retool the offensive line this year. But if I'm going to draft Nico Collins as my wide receiver 1, I want him to be healthy. I don't want him to miss time, and that's a thing I'm worried about. I want him to be able to have time to get down the field and have his quarterback have a pocket so that there's the ability for him to be able to find Nico Collins. I'm worried about that in this Texans offense.
So are you out on the player or are you out on the offense? Because Jaden Higgins, who's getting a ton of buzz in camp as the de facto number 2 and could, if we are anticipating that Collins misses time, step into a wide receiver 1 role.
Yep.
Largely undrafted, very late, ranked, I believe, outside of the top 50 players at the position.
Yes, agreed. I think that is an awesome pick, and Nico Collins is a much better wide receiver than Jaden Higgins, but I'm more in on the idea of drafting Jaden Higgins because of the ADP rather than feeling like I have to spend that draft capital on a guy that I've watched get hurt more often than not. Also being on a team that if they just run the ball a ton with David Montgomery and play really solid defense.
Which they can just salt the clock.
They can just salt the clock out. And then, hey, guess what? I don't have to worry about that hamstring issue that Nico's dealing with. That being said, Jaden Higgins is in a spot where if Nico's going to be their deep guy, like Jaden Higgins could be that safety valve underneath. You know, he could help play that role. Him and Dalton Schultz could maybe be those guys where the ball comes out a little bit quicker. So I'm more in on Higgins and less out on Collins than I am on the whole offense, I guess.
Okay, let's just really quickly to contextualize, George Pickens or Nico Collins?
George Pickens.
Chris Olave or Nico Collins?
Chris Olave.
All right. Well, that's good context for us.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Me too.
I like being, this was a good, you should let me out of the box more often.
I agree. That means I have to come to Bristol, though.
That's true. But I would like to say I probably checked all the boxes today.
You did check all the boxes. Well done. Are there any more housekeeping ones we need to check? No.
This is a safe place. It's a place where we can feel free sharing our feelings.
Dopp, I hear that you have our voicemail submissions.
I sure do, Liz. Loza, the very first one. It's an interesting question. I think it's about the cocaine bear in Kentucky.
Liz, Daniel, this is Luke from Louisville, Kentucky. Bear down. Just want to say again, looking fantastic as a brunette. Never change it. And also, am I insane for thinking of having Cam Skattebo be my RB1? I don't know. I keep getting him. I'm losing my mind thinking that I'm kind of falling into shambles. Please let me know your thoughts. Matt Nagy scares me to the end of days. Thank you. Bye.
I love Luke
I
for
do too.
so many reasons.
I do too.
Also, Luke, I'm a little disappointed that you think I'm a brunette. It's red. It's cowgirl copper. But there's a lot going on in this voicemail. Also, Matt Nagy, scarred for life.
Yes.
Totally understand that. What I don't understand is if Cam Skattebo is going off the board in the 5th round, what you doing for the first 4 rounds of your draft in making Cam Skattebo your RB1? Like, you should definitely have a running back in those first 3 to 4 rounds, no?
Yes. I think the running back position dries up too quickly outside of that top area. You have to have, like, one of those top guys.
Right.
And I don't think that Cam Skattebo counts to me as one of those top guys. He's an RB2 contender.
I like him as an RB2. I think you and I might differ a little bit.
I'm nervous about.
You know what? But if he's your RB2, you don't have to be nervous. If he's your RB1, yeah,
then I
am
really
nervous.
have to be nervous. Yeah,
but he was the RB4 in rushing attempts last season, the RB4 in receptions, which you don't automatically think about.
That's true.
Now, he's not going to see that kind of volume, assuming Malik Neighbors is in fact healthy, right? But we still know that he was the RB8 in fantasy points per game, averaging 19.1 before he got hurt last season.
How about if Malik Neighbors is healthy, this offense is moving up and down the field with more efficiency than we saw last year, because we didn't see Cam Skattebo hardly play with Malik Neighbors, and that could also increase the touchdown equity that Cam Skattebo could see. So, I'm nervous because of the health part of it. Seems like every once in a while Cam Skattebo just does some silly health things.
I mean, he is like the living, breathing Kool-Aid man.
Yes. When he just bursts. I'm waiting for him to burst through this
That
door.
would be
What
so
would do?
cool.
How
Oh my
incredible would
gosh.
that be?
But yes.
As an RB1, I'm nervous. As an RB2, okay, I can
But
swallow
Luke,
that.
please draft a running back before the 5th round.
Yes.
Please have at least one drafted before you get to Cam Skattebo. Go ahead and take Skattebo. Totally fine. Just as well as someone else in front of him.
And check your color saturation settings just to make sure that it is red.
Daniel used to be a producer. That's it.
True. No
Next
big
one.
deal. All right, next question here. This next one we have is going to come from my buddy Mark, who I actually don't know, but I think him and I will be friends.
Okay.
Mark is just a quick fantasy football 10-team PPR question. Who do you have higher in ADP? Omarion, Hampton, or Saquon Barkley? Thank you very much.
Look at that pro. Ask the question, gets out. This kid is dope. He is my favorite.
Mark.
Yeah.
I love this. And it's a very good question, Mark. This might be one of the best ones because I have those two players back to back in my rankings. I have Omarion Hampton as my RB8 and Saquon Barkley as my RB9. So very good question. To me, this is a question of floor versus ceiling.
Yep.
I think that Hampton has a higher ceiling. Barkley offers you a safer floor. The offensive line in Philadelphia, certainly more proven than the one in Los Angeles. We're going to hope that it's healthy and that will add to Hampton's appeal. But I think that I like them both, and it depends on what you want to do with your team.
If you have a direction that you want to go because you like one of the players more, I don't think you're going to go wrong with either one of these guys. I would go with Omarion Hampton. You said this and made me think about it. I think that Saquon might have a safer floor, but I still think Omarion Hampton may have a higher floor with the offense that could be the Chargers and Mike McDaniel. If things go the way that they did last year when Omarion Hampton was healthy, he looked unbelievable. Not only as a running back, finding his way in the end zone, but as a pass catcher, he was very involved. We know that McDaniels knows how to get the football to his running backs with the way that he did with Davante. So for me, I would go with Omarion Hampton here. Mark, I'm just your buddy Daniel, just me and you for a second. I would go with Omarion Hampton, but you're not going to go wrong with either one of these running backs.
Well, you know, the Eagles also have a new offensive coordinator this season
They
in
do.
Sean Mannion, and in a passing game transition season, the team is also more likely to lean on the proven ground game. Barkley has 250 carries projected for himself.
Yeah.
So, Mark, I think you just got to go with your gut, baby.
I like it. All right, we got one last question. This one is about some old dudes in fantasy.
Good afternoon, Liz. This is Michael from New York. I was wondering, Is the 49ers going to use Mike Evans like the Rams used Davante? And if so, is he worth a late third-round pick? Thanks. Love the show. Have a great year. See ya.
Wow. He really, Michael milked to the end of that voicemail.
I like it.
I just got to say.
I like it. So I think my question back to Michael, which obviously I won't be able to know the answer to.
Can you spread it out the way that he did?
Well, I'll try. Mike Evans, a third-round pick.
Too high.
Like, you don't need to do that in
No.
the third round. His ADP is 90.0 overall. That means you're getting him between the 9th and the 10th round, depending on how many people are in your league. I do like Evans's value. Now, we did say earlier in the show, obviously, that he's dealing with a quadriceps issue, and we did see him get injured last season, so that could be signs of decline. I think that the 49ers would like to use Mike Evans, like Sean McVay used Davante Adams.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to be possible. Right now, Mike Evans is projected to score 8 touchdowns. Adams recorded 14 in 2025. And also, for what it's worth, Michael, you can get Davante Adams himself in the 5th round, which is 2 rounds after the 3rd.
Yeah.
So
I kind of feel when you say this, Davante Adams last year, just thinking about the question itself, Davante Adams last year basically turned into Jimmy Graham. Like, he lived between the 20s.
Okay.
He was just a touchdown guy, didn't really live in the middle of the field. I'm not saying that that's going to be Mike Evans, because Mike is a field stretcher when he's healthy, though he is turning 33 this year, has been dealing with injuries, like you said. Where Mike Evans makes his money is by finding the end zone.
not a ton of volume, but a ton of high-value volume.
So I wonder if the comp to Davante Adams isn't bad, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough for me to want to invest. Definitely not a third-round pick.
Well, to me, the best thing about Mike Evans is the value he's presenting.
Because it's a 10th-round pick
Correct.
rather than... So that's fair. All right, after walking through it, I think you helped me with that one. I can be a little bit more in on Mike Evans.
Draft him, but not in the 3rd round.
But not in the 3rd round.
Yes.
Agreed. That's going to do it for the voicemails this week. Make sure you continue to send in all of the voicemails that you have. Liz and I love being able to listen to them. Sometimes we just go in and listen to them ourselves, and we just talk about how we can't wait to be able to get to them later on this season, because we got a bunch of really good off-season questions. So please check back. If you did not hear voicemails today, we're either going to do some social videos or hopefully have them in later on episodes. The phone number is 323-391-4855.
And remember, one more thing, when you leave your voicemail, please include your Instagram handle so we can alert you that your voicemail is on the show and give you a shout out.
Hey, we love that.
Last call.
Today we learned that tush pushes can't last forever, that Daniel Dopp might finally be right about Travis Kelce, and that ADP is not gospel. It is, in fact, merely a suggestion. Remember, you can leave us a voicemail, and when you do, please also leave us your Instagram handle. The number to call is 323-391-4855. Until next time, may your facts be solid, your feelings be right, and your bus be someone else's problem. Wait, bringing back the big mama clap. All right, 3, 2, 1.
That was not bad. That was a good one. Cross so that I can keep
Okay.
continuity. All right, go ahead.
Applesauce. We're matching 3. Oh, hold on. Today we learned that we learned so much. The number to call is 323-49. No, it's 391, but I almost got it.
That was decent. That was better.
Okay.